Hello, welcome to the second episode of the John Baldwin Show on Paradise Road Radio. We are going to feature Brian Elder. Let's start off right now listening to Always There from Brian Elder.
Pressures of life get to me, I know where to turn. When the thoughts in my mind consume me, I look to your word, 'cause I know that's where I'll find you. And when I'm afraid, I trust in you. No matter what I'm going through, I know that I can count on you. Your promises are always true. Your word, it says you'll never leave, and so that's what I believe. I know that you are always there. When the faith in my life is shaken, I know what I need. When the rest in my mind is taken, I sit at your feet, 'cause I know that's where I'll find my peace. When I'm afraid, I trust in you. No matter what I'm going through, I know that I can count on you. Your promises are always true. Your word, it says you'll never leave, and so that's what I believe. I know that you are always there. I know it, and I believe it, and I know that you are always there. I know it, and I believe it, and I know that you are always there. When I'm afraid, I trust in you. No matter what I'm going through, I know that I can count on you. Your promises are always true. Your word, it says you'll never leave, and so that's what I believe. I know that you are always there.
All right, this is John Baldwin. You are just listening to Always There by Brian Elder, and I am joined on the line by Brian Elder, all the way from Nashville, right?
Yes, sir. How are you doing, John?
Doing great, Brian. Haven't seen you in a couple of years. Good to hear you.
You too, man. You too. It's been a while, but I hear you're doing great. So that's awesome.
I'm always plugging away at music. I just put out a country album, and now I can finally work on the praise album, which is where I wanted all this to go. And I know
That's so cool.
you've done the regular music world, and now you're steeped into into the praise music world, so you understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What are you doing out in Nashville? You moved out there. What happened? Well, I mean, what did you go out? What pulled you out there?
Yeah. So, so I'm from Virginia, and then I moved out to Texas for 10 years and then went back to Virginia because God led me out there. And so, while I was out there, and that's where I met my wife, got married and all that stuff. And we had a 1.5-year-old baby girl now. But, while we're out there, we were deciding like the next part of our life. And so, what I was doing at the time, financially was I was just doing, I worked with you at Busch Gardens and stuff like that. And I'm just trying to do all that stuff. And then, but at that particular moment, right before we moved, what I was doing was just like kind of odd jobs and things like that. And then I was still doing music. I was playing different churches and all that. And this actually leads to your answer to your question. But, and so then I started working with this band, a really good friend of mine that I've known for like 30 years. And I was doing load in, load out with him and for his band. And he got to, and it was doing really well. I mean, whenever he was in town and we were playing, or they were playing, and I was helping them and stuff, it was good money for our family. But as he paid me really well. But then they started going on the road and doing longer tours than what they were doing. So they were going for like 2 or 3 weeks and stuff like that. And so I ended up at that point, like, then I'd be out of work for 2 weeks trying to figure out how else to make that work. And so I told my wife one day, I said, if we could live in North Carolina, because I almost took a worship leader job out there, and I ended up not doing that, which it didn't go through, which we understand now why it was a blessing for that. But we went out to North Carolina and stuff, and we loved the area. So I asked her, I was like, if you could live in North Carolina, the area we were checking out, Tennessee, because we've always talked about Tennessee, Virginia with our family, or anywhere else. I mean, it doesn't matter wherever you want to go, and I will find a job in that area and we will make it work.
Of course.
And so 2 days later, it might have been the next day, but she came back and she was like, she chose Tennessee, and she chose Tennessee for multiple reasons. She chose it because she was like, I feel like if you need to be doing music and you need to, write songs, that's where we need to be, is Nashville. And she's like, also her best friend lives out here. And she was like, our daughter can grow up with her daughter. And there's just so many different reasons. So, short story long, she told me that. And then like 2 days later, I went and did prison ministry for 2 weeks, but we had started setting that up and going, okay, well, let's go out there for a week and try it, because she put it out with her friends and was like, hey, if anyone needs a job or someone to work a job, my husband has a CDL, he does music, this, that, whatever. Well, within minutes, her best friend texted her back and was like, call me. And so they tried to set up for me to meet her husband, which on the phone, which I already met him before in person. And they were like, you can drive for him. He has a dump truck business. And he was basically hiring me on the spot. And I was like, damn, let me come out there and drive for you first and make sure it's a good fit before I uproot my family. And so I left 4 days later to go to Florida to do prison ministry. Got back 2 days after I got back. We were in Nashville for a week. And I drove for her best friend's husband for 4 days. Second day, he was like, you got the job if you wanted. And my wife had already kind of planned, like, this is going to work, or hoping it was going to work. So she was like, I'm going to set up all these places for us to look at, and during that week while we're out there to rent. And so she had 10 places lined up, John, and we went to the first one, and it was like, both of us were like, nah. Second one, we were like, nah. The third one, we were like, all right, this is nice, but, and it feels like it could be, we could make things work here, but maybe not. We went to the fourth one, and my wife was like, we left there. She goes, I kind of feel like that's home. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. We canceled all the other 6 places we had to look at. And she we did an application. Both of us did our application and stuff. And we were the whole time, and we were like, Lord, if it's not your will, close the door. Don't let me get this job. If it's not your will, don't let this application go through. Well, John, we signed a lease, and I had a job, and we put a deposit down within 1 week of being in Nashville. We went home, we packed, and we were out here 2 weeks later. It was just crazy. So that's what brought us out here. Technically, is just the job, and she wanted to give the opportunities for me to be able to do music, as well as for for our daughter to grow up with her best friend's daughter, and for them to be able to see each other again and hang out, her and her best friend. So
all the
there's multiple reasons. Yeah, it's been a blessing.
God pushes you, but the wife also helps nudge you in good directions. That's very nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right where you need to be for Christian music. Nashville's, that's going to be the place. So.
Yeah, it's been really some really cool people here, and I didn't realize that the whole Christian hub was here, like Brentwood and Franklin and all that. Yeah. So
you're in the spot. So like your song says, it'll be all right. We're going to listen to that right now, and that's exactly it, about just listening to the guidance inside from the Holy Spirit and listening to your wife. So yes, it'll be all right.
Used to be broken, was broken inside. I didn't know how to go on with my life. So full of fear, and I didn't know why. I got into your word, it changed my life. It was you who got me through. You're so faithful with all you do. As long as I keep you first in my life, that's when I know it'll be alright. Let go, was hiding behind a smile so it wouldn't show. Felt so alone, I had nowhere to turn. That's when I got on my knees and then I learned it is you who gets me through. You're so faithful with all you do. As long as I keep you first in my life, and that's when I know it'll be alright. And even though I couldn't see it back then, you stretched my faith, and now I know that you are my strength. And it is you who gets me through. You're so faithful with all you do. As long as I keep you first in my life, that's when I know it'll be alright. And it was you who got me through. You're so faithful with all you do. As long as I keep you first in my life, that's when I know it'll be alright.
And we're back. So Brian was telling us about his move to Nashville, and we'll talk about your beautiful relationship with your wife later. I'll close out with the story about I Do, but it's so important, Christian men to have good marriages and good wives that support us.
Yeah.
So. Actually, floor is open. Let's see. I did want to ask you about prison ministry. I saw that on your bio, and then you mentioned that just a minute ago. Tell me about that. That sounds fascinating.
Oh man, it is awesome. I never in a million years would have thought I would be doing prison ministry, and I don't know. So one of my friends I've known for a long time. He's a little bit older than us, but he's he was a great mentor back in the day and all that sort of stuff. And he had told me, so basically we stayed in touch and everything. So there's one day that I reached out to him before I even came out to Virginia. I reached out to him and I told him that, the things that I was doing out in Texas, and asked him how he was doing. He told me he was doing prison ministry, and it was kind of in like a passing thing. He was like, maybe one day, you can come out and like do some prison ministry with us. And it was like, yeah, it'd be cool, whatever, like it was one of those things that I didn't really, I didn't think was going to happen, but it was just a conversation between us. Well, that was like September of 2021. And then I went out to Virginia in February 2022, and him and I hadn't really talked since then, but we stayed up on each other's posts and things like that on Facebook. And so I was out there doing Busch Gardens at that point, 2022, February. Mm-hmm. And then during Celtic Fire, we had somebody come in at the very end of that, around like June or July or something. Someone came in, a new tech person, and I was telling them I hadn't played any churches yet, but I was starting to want to play churches and share my testimony.
Yeah.
He connected me, and this is how I got connected with prison ministry after that. Was he connected me with a guy in Virginia Beach who was his cousin that was pastor of a church. Mm-hmm. And that guy connected me to a worship leader to talk to him about playing at their church. And he asked me where I was from. I told him Gloucester, and he was like, "Oh, do you know this person?" And I was like, yeah, I just talked to him. So I got a phone and I messaged my buddy Mark, and I was like, "Hey, I just met this guy. He told me to tell you hi." And then I asked him, I was like, "What are you doing these days?" And he's like, "Oh, well, we just got off the road and we're going back in September. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, my contract ends September 5th. And he was like, well, come out with us. So that's the first thing that got me into it.
Cool.
And then I went out with them for 2 weeks, and it's really cool. I've done three tours with them, and then plus 2 dates in 3 2-week tours in Florida and 2 prison dates with them in Virginia. And then I just did a jail ministry here in Nashville when I first got to town. Yeah. And it is amazing. If you ever get the opportunity to do it, John, it's so crazy. Like, you get to see, I know, like, all those people get kind of a bad stigma too, and that sort of thing. But when you go in there, there's so many men in there that are wanting to hear the gospel. They're wanting to hear some encouragement, some hope, some, and it's just, they're so grateful. They tell us, thank you so much for being here. You just gave me a little light in this dark place, and it's just crazy. It's so awesome to see,
That's cool. Yeah. A good friend of mine does that. But yeah, that definitely grabbed my eye I was looking through your bio, you get these amazing acting credits and directing credits, but then the prison ministry, that just stood out like, whoa, where'd that come from? But yeah, we can mention you have always followed your creative passions. You started in just secular music. You went away and did acting and directing. I watched your short film, My Father's Day. You have a lot of credits for the acting world, and then it looks like Christian music brought you back to the guitar. Is that the way I'm reading it?
Yeah. So it was. I had went through a really bad period in my life where I was going through depression and anxiety, and it's still like I still struggle with it every once in a while now too. And but it was just a moment where I went through it really bad. It was a really low point in my life, and I at that time I wasn't playing music, and I didn't really want anything to do with it. And I just remember just asking God to give me purpose and to help me through this and all that. And I felt like he had led me back to my guitar one day, and I started playing, but and I still didn't love it after that for a little bit. I still just didn't have any really desire to play anymore. And then through that process, I started writing songs of what I was going through, and It'll Be All Right. The last song you played was actually the second song that I wrote during that time, or third song I wrote during that time that I was going through that. And that was what I was feeling, but I ended up writing it in past tense than present tense. And so really it was the Lord that brought me, I feel like it was the Lord that brought me back to music, that just kind of opened that door and was like, this is what I want you to do. And, even if it doesn't do anything, but it gives somebody hope from one of the songs that I've written, or to be able to share this, that, people are not alone. We all are struggling at times with different things, and we're going to go through hard seasons and troubles in life. But we have a hope in Jesus Christ. And, and so if it's not for nothing else, it's like, maybe he gave me that desire to play again for that, And so, but that's where it came back, was just, I feel like he brought me back to it and gave me that desire again.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like, I've used music as a means to make money, but there's such a difference in singing in church on Sunday morning. I feel like it's a different me. It's a more powerful voice. That's the real artist. The rest is just, silliness and trying to make money with, the guitar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta, provide for your family too. So
yeah. But
absolutely, yeah.
There's just a difference when I'm there on Sunday morning singing a song to the Lord. I mean, my mouth opens more, my vocals open more. It's so much different than singing a Jimmy Buffett song. Not that I don't love that, but but that's probably what you experienced when you came back to the guitar. It's just totally new eyes.
Yeah. Well, the songs became more meaningful to me, at that point. I know back in the day when I was writing music, it was all like, it was nothing, I didn't write anything horrible that I remember, but it was just it wasn't the same. There was no, there's so much more meaning to what I'm writing now. I'm writing things through through things that I feel or I see other people going through, or just things that are encouraging, where before it was just, this is a song,
Amen.
So I get it.
Amen.
Yeah.
We're going to listen to Believe. This is a song which sounds like the words lifted you up, and they'll lift somebody else up listening to it. Let's listen to Believe.
What if I told you you could have joy? What if I told you you could have peace? Oh, peace. What if I told you you could have hope? What if I told you I know how you can be free? All you have to do is just believe. Grace is a free gift for you. You can't even do anything. Jesus paid it all for you. He will never leave you. He will never let you go. Give him all of your brokenness, and he will make you whole. What if I told you you could find love? What if I told you you could find rest? Oh, rest. What if I told you you could be new? What if I told you that in Christ we are made alive? All you have to do is just believe. Grace is a free gift for you. You can't even do anything. Jesus paid it all for you. He will never leave you. He will never let you go. Give him all of your brokenness, and he will make you whole. And he will make you whole. He will give you strength, provide all your needs. His promises are for anyone who believes. He is rich in mercy, and his word is always true. His grace makes everything new. All you have to do is just believe. Grace is a free gift for you. You can't even do anything. Jesus paid it all for you. He will never leave you. He will never let you go. Give him all of your brokenness, and he will make you whole. And he will make you whole. And he will make you whole. If only you believe.
All right, we're back with Brian Elder. This is John Baldwin, and you released a 4-song album or EP called Passenger Side, and the next song we'll listen to will be the title track. Passenger Side. This EP it's very well produced. It sounds great. Yeah, I'm blown away by it. Can you tell us just about the writing and recording of this album?
Yeah. So I wrote these songs just during different times of my life when I was in Texas and going through the harder time, and then even as I was coming out of it, Passenger Side came from a really much better place, and so did Believe and Always There. But I wrote those when I was in Texas, and I didn't get to record them until I got to Virginia, and it was like May of 2023, I think, when I went to the studio and started recording them. But man, the people who recorded the album, they're really good. It was in Virginia, in Chester, Virginia, and it was Dan Uphoff at Full Circle Recording Studios. So I mean, amazing place. They are good at what they do, so I highly recommend anybody that needs recording to go there. Price is good. It's not hard on your budget.
Nice.
My father-in-law and mother-in-law actually paid for the album. It was like a birthday present for me. And that's why I got the birthday present in May. I didn't record until August, September, something like that. That's when we started. But like, they gave me a card that had, this note in it. Basically said that we're going to pay for your album, and I had a budget on it, in which we made it to that, but it was just like, they paid for it. So that was a blessing too, for them to do that. And that was my birthday present. But
it sounds incredibly well produced. So yeah, well done. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Passenger Side. Well, let's talk about that song, Passenger Side.
Yeah. So Passenger Side came from, I was at a coffee shop in Texas, and I was talking to the owner and asking her how she opened a coffee shop. She told me that she had tried 3 different times, and each time she failed, like just someone to rent the building out underneath of her and things like that. So she gave up on that dream. She was like, I'm not going to open a coffee shop. I don't want to do it no more. And her and her family at some point after that had moved from San Antonio, Texas to Spring Branch. And they opened a coffee shop while they were there, but it wasn't one of those things that they tried to. She just saw this building and she was like, I'm going to go for it again. And so when she was about to open up, it was January of 2021 when she went to go open this coffee shop. And we had this ice storm that came through, and it kind of shut power off and everything like that. So she had to push the opening back to February. But when she got ready to open up in February, she hadn't had time to prepare or like do anything. And so she was asking God to be her promoter and to just make this place work. And she told me that the day she opened up, she sold out of everything. So I had asked her, I was like, well, what gave you, like, what lesson did you take from that? Because I know in life we go through, everything we go through, there's a lesson we can learn. And she told me that she learned that to give God control to his timing, not ours. So I left, and then I got in the car, and I heard these lyrics in my mind. I'm in a rat race, drag race, trying to reach a finish line. I'm in a hurry, worried that I won't make it in time. So I took that, I wrote it down, and I got home. I started working on the song, and probably about a month or two later, I finished it, and it ended up turning into that Passenger Side, just about giving God control, hopping over in the passenger side and letting him drive. And like the bridge talks about how we can look in the rearview mirror, we can look at in our past and see all the things God has done. Yep. And that gives us the to remember how faithful he is and to keep going. And so that's really what that song is about and where it came from.
I see you're by the time this airs, you will have already played the Praise Fest in Kansas City. That's September 13th. Yeah. Do you have any others coming up in the fall, winter, or does that stuff kind of stop until spring?
No, I mean, you can definitely keep things booked and everything. I haven't done a whole lot of booking since we got out here, because I've been really just trying to meet other songwriters, working with other songwriters, playing songwriter nights, and great. Things like that, and just kind of working, spend time with my family, and just letting the Lord open the doors. I really haven't pushed as much, because I know that when the opportunities come, he'll put them before me, and doesn't mean don't do anything, because I have been doing stuff. I've been meeting other songwriters, and I've been working at songwriter nights and things like that. I just haven't I haven't booked anything else at the moment, so that's the next thing I've got going on right now.
Yeah, nothing like being in person. Every connection sparks the next connection. Every job
Yeah.
sparks the next job. You and I at Bush, how many people have we met that we're going to probably keep crossing paths with? Bush has led me to like 3 or 4 other outside projects. Half of the guest singers on my country album. I mean, it's just there's nothing like being out there instead of being in your room recording. Being out there, interacting, songwriters nights, open mics, everything. Being in person, that is where, I mean, that's where it's all going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you could be walking in the grocery store and like, you know, you're just like, you bump into somebody, oh, I'm so sorry, or whatever. And then like, you say, oh, no worries, start talking. And you're like, yeah, you know, this is what I do. And anywhere, like you say, even Busch Gardens, like opportunities can come just from being anywhere.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and listen to Passenger's Side by Brian Elder.
Trying to reach a finish line. I'm in a hurry, worried that I won't make it in time. I don't know what I'm after, and I don't even know why. I'm always rushing through my whole life. Going 0 to 90 all my life. Trying to do things all in my own time. I've got to remember you have a perfect plan for my life. I've got to let you drive and hop over into the passenger side. I'm going up, down, all around, can't keep my feet on the ground. Although I'm moving, running, it feels like I'm standing around. I'm always in a hurry, and I don't even know why. And I know that everything will be fine. Going 0 to 90 all my life. Trying to do things all in my own time. I've got to remember you have a perfect plan for my life. I've got to let you drive and hop over into the passenger side. So many times I can't see it in the moments. What you are doing in my life. Looking in the rear view, I see all you have done, so I can sit back and enjoy the ride. Going 0 to 90 all my life. Trying to do things all in my own time. I've got to remember you have a perfect plan for my life. I've got to let you drive and hop over into the passenger side.
All right, we are back with my friend Brian Elder. I'm so glad you took the time out today to talk with me. And
Yeah, pleasure.
I'll share something personal, so then that'll lead me into my question to you. So last night at church, we had worship night on a Friday night, and my wife played drums with me for her second gig ever. She played a bar gig, and now for a second gig, she's playing in church. And um, I'm just floored by where God has taken this. 2 years ago, she didn't even play drums, and now
Oh no.
she, wants to be part of my world and wants to be part of what I'm doing with the ministry. And I'm sure in the future I'll do little church concerts, and she'll be there. And it just, I am blown away. I couldn't do it without a good marriage. I couldn't be a good Christian without this good marriage. That's just a prelude to you and your beautiful family. And you wrote a song called "I Do," the wedding vows, which I love that it's a love song, but it's also involving Christ. You cannot have a good relationship without Christ at the center, and I think you've captured that in your song.
Thank you.
So please, talk about that and talk about your beautiful bride.
Yeah. So that song actually is my wedding vows. I wrote that song for my wife when we were getting married, and I didn't finish the song when I played it, but I did finish all of it. But the bridge was done, and I actually played that at my wedding. And it's funny because it was one of those things that I wrote. We were going to say our vows. We're going to just kind of speak them to each other. And I just gotten this idea of, you know what, let me write mine in song form and sing it at the wedding. And so that day, I mean, like, I had a little bit of the chorus written beforehand, but that day, I think it was the day before the wedding and the day of the wedding, I was scrounging around to finish this song. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to have this song done. And so I ended up finishing it super fast. Within those 2 days, I finished that song and I played it for her at the wedding. And then later I ended up writing a bridge to it and recording it. But yeah, and some of that song is part of our story too, where it says, I've been praying for you, even when I didn't know who you were. And so, and that's true because like before her and I were together, I was praying, Lord, if it's your will, and I kind of surrendered that over to him. Like, if it's your will, then bring me the wife that you have for me. And if it's not, then that's okay too. I'll be single the rest of my life. It's fine. It wasn't like, her and I both had come to that conclusion that, what, if it wasn't meant for either one of us to be married, then it is what it is. We'll just try to seek him more. And so I was praying for her, and before I even knew who she was. And then there's a part in there that says, when you know, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a true story. That's just somebody had come up to me. I was doing a worship retreat, and they came up to me and they said, "Are you married right now? Are you seeing anybody?" is what they said. And I said, "No." And it was a pastor that came up to me and another buddy of his. And I was like, "No, why?" And they were like, "Well, we feel like you need a wife to walk alongside your ministry with you." And her and I had been only texting for like 4 weeks at this point. And I told them about her, and they were like, "Well, we don't know who she is, but we just feel like you're going to meet someone. It's going to happen fast. But when you know, you know."
Right.
So that actually truly was part of our story. And then when I told her that, when I asked her, I said, we were texting for 4 weeks, dated for 2 weeks, got engaged, and got married 6 weeks later. And I asked her, I said, yeah, it's crazy. And we're going to be, this December is going to be our 3-year wedding anniversary. And so I had told her, I said, if I asked you to marry me right now, you'd probably run. And she was like, "No, not with you." And I said, "Why?" She's like, "When you know, you know." And I told her the story about that. Oh. So there's so many things like in that song, though, that is truly part of our life, that things that happened in our life when I wrote that. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing that, I don't know just how God works, man. I mean, I can look back and you can see his hand all over putting us together. And I won't share that. That's a long story, but there was just multiple things that opened those doors for her and I to be together. And, I don't know, it's just crazy. And the best part that my wife loves about the whole story, whenever I share the long story, is that before I left Texas to come to Virginia and play at Busch Gardens, I told my boss at the time, I was like, "Look, I know God's leading me back to Virginia." I said, "I don't know why." I said, "But here's how he led me. He led me through Joshua 1:9 and just a whole, just awesome story behind that. But I said, I know for a fact he's leading me to Virginia." I said, "It's probably to help somebody out." And I said, I'm okay with that. And she said, "Or it's to meet your future wife." And that was months, a whole season of Busch Gardens before I even talked to her. I was like, "Nah, I'm out there to meet somebody." Nope. He led me to my wife. It's just crazy and amazing how God works.
the Holy Spirit, he knows what he's doing. We don't. So
Oh, yeah.
he can put up all these signs, and hopefully we get them. I heard the voice of my deceased father saying, "I'm going to find you somebody." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." And like,
Oh, wow.
and like weeks later, somebody came into my life, and like I could still hear his voice, like, "What are you doing, dummy? Give her a look." Like, okay, I feel like my father's pushing me to look at this one, and she was the one, because he hated, when he died, I was sad and alone, and he just wanted to see the better for me.
Yeah.
So that's very personal, but it's crazy how things
That's awesome.
can work.
Yeah, that is cool. And y'all been married for a while now, haven't you?
Since 2021.
Yeah. That's cool, though. That's awesome, man.
It was fast. I mean, I knew I wanted to propose pretty much right away, but I waited. But I knew pretty much right away, like not letting this go.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you have a beautiful little girl. How is she?
Oh man, she's amazing. I love her so much. You don't really. Well, I mean, you have kids, right? So it's a whole different world, man. It's like, I thought you have kids, don't you?
I have a 30-year-old son. So
okay, yeah. And so you just like, it's just so crazy how much you can. I mean, you can love your wife and other people, but it's just a different kind of love. It's like, it's just so crazy, man. Like, I don't know. She's beautiful. She's funny. She's amazing. It's just so crazy to see them grow from this, like being a little baby in your hand. And then now like they're doing funny and goofy things that you're just like, what did you, that's hilarious. They'll make you laugh and just, man, I mean, they can make you cry because you're like, oh my gosh, like let nothing happen to her. And just like, it's so amazing to see them grow. It's just cool. Now she's starting to walk, and, she's all over the place, but she's just walking everywhere. And it's like, we were waiting for her to walk, John. It was like, she was a year and a couple months, something like that. And we were like, why is she not walking? She's just crawling everywhere, and she'll walk with us. Like when we're holding her, like holding her fingers or something, but she wouldn't walk on her own. And we were just like, when's she going to walk? And everybody kept telling us, she's going to walk on her own time. Everybody's different. It's okay. And that sort of stuff. And so it was just one day, John, we were sitting there in the living room. We're here in Tennessee. So it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And she got up and she was watching TV, and she took one, because she could stand. She just wasn't walking. So she took one step, took another step. She took about 4 steps, and we were like, oh my goodness, she walked. And she went down and started crawling. And then she got up again, and she started walking again. She did like 12 steps and 13 steps. And like now she's walking all the time. She still crawls a little bit, but she walks all the time now. And it's like, and it was a matter of like days, and she was just fully walking. And we're like, oh my goodness, they're right. They're so right.
That's beautiful. So, I'm glad y'all are going through that together. She's going to be very strong and smart, and she'll give you a run for your money, probably. There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm so happy for you, and we're running out of time, but I am so happy for you and your move out there.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll cross paths. My wife and I will do a church tour, and we'll cross paths out there. We're going to Tennessee for Thanksgiving. We go to Newport, the Dollywood area.
Yeah, Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, so my brother's out there, so we'll be out there if you're anywhere near there.
Yeah, I think we're about 2.5 hours from there. But if y'all, let me know when you're out here. Maybe we can meet halfway and do something, or we can connect somehow or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, good luck to you out there. Keep up your music, your ministry, your family. Keep up leading others to Christ. This music is fantastic. Please make more of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're going to wrap it up. This is John Baldwin, Brian Elder. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
the rest of my life, until the day that we die. When I say I do, I mean only you. And I know it's hard to believe, but it's true, I love you, I do. For better or worse, till death do us part. And even after you remain in my heart forever, it's true. Not just on our wedding day, but forever I'll say my vows will always remain. I'll be faithful always. I will love you for the rest of my days. You are God's perfect plan. I'm so grateful I get to be your man. And I'll always choose you, no matter what we go through. When I say I do, I mean only you. And I know it's hard to believe, but it's true, I love you, I do. For better or worse, till death do us part. And even after you remain in my heart forever, it's true. Not just on our wedding day, but forever I'll say my vows will always remain. Oh, no doubt in my mind that you are the one. I can see God's hand in this. Oh, I love our story, and I'm thankful God gave me you, my greatest blessing. And I say I do, I mean only you. And I know it's hard to believe, but it's true, I love you, I do. For better or worse, till death do us part. And even after you remain